Welcome, everyone, to the 2003 APBA St. Petersburg National Championships, coming to you from beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi, everyone. I'm Vince Sapari on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video Production crew. We'll have 4 different races in these championships, 2 today, 2 tomorrow. The total number of boats, some 90 competitors in all. Races 1 and 2 on this tape. And race number 1 will consist of the PX class, P1, P2, and P3. In race 2, Factory 1, P4, P5, and the 1 Design class. And the competitors in races 1 and 2 include, first off, in race number 1, in the Outlaw Performance PX, it's Bacardi Silver, Liquid Metal, and Flowmaster. Also, Callan Marine. In Outlaw Performance 1, Pacemaker, In Contempt, Agitator, Dirty Duck, White Knuckles Racing, and American Dream. In Outlaw Performance 2, Obsession, Kinetic Animation, Advanced Transmission Center, and Lucas Oil. In P3, it's Team Fortress Offshore, Team TKO, Wild Ride, Sirius, Traffic Light, and Cancun Cantina. And those are your competitors in race 1. In race 2, it's Factory 1, Screamin' Eagle, Team Levycraft, Typhoon, Velocity BR1, and Winnebago. In P4 class, Moral Hazard, Mid-America Offshore, Shogun, Simply Awesome, Zero Cavity, Sonic Racing, Wild Card, and Cast Off Racing. In P5, Not Guilty, Carrabba's Team Blythe, High Priority, and Vixen. In the 1 Design class, it's Cavallaro Motorsports, Premier Performance, American Express, White Typhoon, and Max Q Racing. And those are your competitors in races 1 and 2. Now your national point standings for the respective classes. In Factory 1, Winnebago in first place, followed by Typhoon and Screamin' Eagle. In Outlaw Performance PX class, How Sweet It Is, Bacardi Silver in second, and Liquid Metal bringing up third. In the 1 Design class, Premier Performance, American Express, and Cavallaro Motorsports. Also in P1 class, American Dream, White Knuckles Racing, and How Sweet It Is. In P2, Kinetic Animation, Obsession, and Daytona Performance Marine. In P3, Wild Ride on top, followed by Cancun Cantina and Traffic Light. In P4, Sonic Racing in first place, followed by Cast Off Racing and Just Pray Racing. And those are your national point standings for the respective classes for races 1 and 2. So here we are in St. Petersburg for the National Championships, a great place for this event. We've been here many times before. Everything is close by for the racers. Everything is local. The inspections at the Vinoy Park, as well as the fueling. Great spectator viewing from the pier. The wet pits are also at the Vinoy Basin, and the dry pits are at Vinoy Park. Now, the APBA sponsors for these championships include GMC Vortec Engines, Mercury Racing, Formula Racing, Snap-on Talking Tools, Sunoco, Daytona Harley-Davidson, Sterling Performance, also Jewel Yacht Transport, BioClean, and many, many more. The APBA officials include Mr. Michael Allwise, special thanks to him, and also Mr. Jim Pomplin from the Stars Rescue Team and his entire rescue team, Dee Kimes, the chief scorer, Paula Brew, Mike Tomlinson, chief referee, and many, many more. Those are your APBA officials responsible for making the APBA season a very successful one. Now, Freeze Frame Video Productions has 27 onboard cameras for you for this event, and they include cameras on board Obsession Racing Team, Dirty Duck, Callan Marine has a forward and a back camera. Also a camera on board 1 Design class number 12, 1 Design White Typhoon, and 1 Design class Max Q Racing. Other cameras on board, Awesome, Flashwave, Addicted, Agitator, Kinetic Animation, and ATC Racing. As I said, 27 onboard cameras for you for these national championships, giving you that up-close and personal look right from the racer's cockpit. Now we're going to take a look around the dry pit area, look at some of these big, beautiful machines awaiting for the beginning of race number 1. Very shortly, we will be airborne to bring you race number 1 and 2 here in St. Petersburg for the APBA St. Petersburg National Championships. All right, as you can see now, we are airborne, and there is the orange smoke signaling that we are just a few moments away from the beginning of race number 1, the PX class, also the P1, P2, P3. Race number 1. Here we are in the milling area. Boats getting ready to follow the pace boat and line up. Fairly calm waters here in St. Petersburg at the outset. We're going to go with the PX and P1 start. Some of the competitors include Pacemaker, In Contempt, Agitator, Dirty Duck, White Knuckles Racing, American Dream, that's in P1 and PX class. It's Liquid Metal, Flowmaster, and Bacardi Silver. Boats now beginning to follow the pace boat. And there is the pace boat. And right behind are the competitors lining up, spreading out, getting ready. OffshoreOnly.com pace boat. They're in the lead also. OffshoreOnly.com partially sponsoring this tape here in St. Petersburg. And they're on the parade lap now. We've got Bacardi Silver on the inside, then Agitator, American Dream, Liquid Metal. There is Bacardi Silver on the inside. And Callan and Flowmaster also in the shot coming in there on the far outside. Lots and lots of spectator boats there lining the course. You can see in the background. Callan on the inside. We have Flowmaster also now in the picture. Beautiful day here in St. Petersburg. Agitator, Liquid Metal, American Dream, Bacardi, Callan, Flowmaster, all in the mix there in this PX and P1 start. In Contempt on the far outside. Swinging to the left, going around the turn on the parade lap. Everybody spreading out now, waiting for the green here in St. Petersburg. And we have a green flag now here at the APBA St. Petersburg National Championships. Callan Marine shot out of a cannon, hosing down Agitator right there. Callan Marine 5,000 horsepower turbine engines. Agitator getting the brunt of that hosing down. Other boats coming up. We got In Contempt, American Dream, White Knuckles, and Dirty Duck. And there they are. We're off to a great start here in St. Petersburg. Callan Marine, your leader on the inside. There is Agitator coming up. In Contempt, also Bacardi Silver on the outside. Agitator, it's a skater. Charles Amon is the driver. Robert McNeil, the throttle man. Charles Amon, also the owner of Agitator, P132, getting hosed down there in the early moments of this race. First national race in the APBA for Agitator, a legendary boat, many checkered flags, lots of history aboard Agitator, many checkered flags, as we said, some 17 years of history. This boat was restored for this race. Going around the turn, there is the pier, which spectators have a great view of this race. Some of the sponsors for Agitator include White Oak Auto and Marine, CNC Motorsports, and Preferred Power Marine out of Fairfield, Ohio. In Contempt on the right, Agitator on the left. Off to a great start in race number 1 here at the St. Petersburg National Championships, there is Agitator with Charles Amon and Robert McNeil. Charles from Ohio, Cincinnati. Robert from Fairfield, Ohio. In contempt there on the right side. In contempt going by. In contempt, we got Paul Whittier, the driver, and Thomas Stegliano is the throttle man on board in contempt. P160. Charles Amon and Robert McNeil on Agitator battle here in the early moments of this race. P1 class. And Freeze Frame Video Productions would like to welcome the Agitator Racing Team to the national circuit of the APBA. First in class, Agitator. On board Cal Marine now at the start of the race at the green. There's the pace boat on the left side. Offshoreonly.com. And there's the green, and you can hear those engines revving up. 5,000 horsepower turbines. This boat is capable of 200 miles per hour. David Callan and John Kosker on board. Callan Marine. On board Agitator now. They're going to get hosed down now by Cal Marine. Let's watch. And now they're getting it. They're getting it good. Charles Amon and Robert McNeil on board Agitator getting hosed down by Cal Marine at the start of the race. Bacardi Silver on the left side of your screen. Our helicopter on the right side. Russell Kilpatrick, our helicopter pilot. Charles Amon and Robert McNeil on board Agitator. It's a skater. As we said before, this is a 17-year-old boat, and it is a legend. Many checkered flags to its credit, and they restored it for this race in new race condition. All right, back to our helicopter shot. Agitator and In Contempt battling it out here in P1. In Contempt with an edge. Around the turn. And we're going to go with In Contempt right now. It's a skater 36-footer with powered by 525 Mercuries. Thomas Stegliano is the driver. Paul Whittier is the throttle man. Currently in second place in the national point standings. Took a second in Fort Lauderdale and a second in Sarasota. Special thanks to John Vanderstein from Offshore Concepts. Other competitors in P1 class include Pacemaker, Agitator, we saw a little while ago, Dirty Duck, White Knuckles Racing, and American Dream. Right now we're watching In Contempt. In first place. Thomas Stagliano, the driver, and Paul Whittier, the throttle man, on board In Contempt, 36-foot skater, Mercury powered. Around the turn, In Contempt. And there's American Dream coming up with Bill Beeben and Michael Jordan. It's an MTI. Dirty Duck and Agitator. Dirty Duck on the inside, Agitator on the outside. As they battle in P1. We're going to go with Dirty Duck now. Dirty Duck, it's an MTI. And we've got Mr. Jerry Chestelot. He is the driver, and Joey Gratton is the throttle man, powered by two 525 Mercuries. Currently in fourth place in the national point standings. Took a fourth in Fort Lauderdale, fourth in Sarasota. Some sponsors include Benchcraft, Lane, Serta, Mercury, Offshore Solutions, Perkins, Herring Crops, and Kestrel. Sponsors for Dirty Duck. Jerry